Now we're going to start lesson 27 for loops with B. Before starting, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed it, and give a thumbs up. Okay, cool. So our instruction is collect the nectar from each flower using the fewest blocks possible. Okay, so we have 5 blocks. All right, and if you look on the left, we have a bee. So what we need to do, we need to go forward, get nectar. Is it nectar? Yeah, get nectar. We go forward, get nectar, go forward, get nectar, forward nectar, forward nectar. So it seems like we're doing one thing over and over again. So in this case, we can use a loop. All right, so let's see loop. Okay, so we have this while path ahead. So I think this will work for us because we don't need to go left or right. So the bee is gonna go while there is a path. So at the end of the path, okay, and then for each step we want to move forward, and then we want to get nectar. All right, so let's run, see what happens. Okay, cool, well done. All right, so let's see the code. Okay, so while there is a path, we go move forward, we go get the nectar. Awesome, that's what we did. We just used the block language. Cool. So let's go to the next one. So here we have, okay, write the code to help the bee collect all the nectar. You will need lots of blocks for this challenge, but we'll learn an easier way in the next puzzle. Okay, cool. All right, so when set counter, so if you remember, that's how we assign a variable. So variable is just a way of storing information, so your program can use it later on. Cool. So set counter to, so I'm just gonna use, okay, let's look at the challenge. So for the first flower, we have 2 flowers, 1 flower, 2 flowers, 3 flowers, 4 flowers, 5 flowers, right? So when we get nectar, we need to, for each step, we need to increase that counter. So initially we can, I think, start with 1 since we have 1 flower. Okay, so we go math, we go 1, and then we repeat. How many times we repeat? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can do repeat 5 times, and then we move forward. So for each step we just move forward 1. That's fine, but each block has, like, it has increasing number of flowers. So for example, for first loop it's gonna have 1. So because the counter is 1, so you'll get 1 counter, and after that we need to increase this by another 1. So when it goes to the next step, it can get 2 nectars, right? So we go math, change counter by 1. So after each loop, so what is happening here is starting counter with 1. So after it finish 1 loop, so that's the first loop. On the second loop, the C will become this 1 plus this 1. So C will become 2. C means counter will become 2. So that's the second time. And on third time, so see, we have for the first loop 1 flower, 2 flowers. For the third loop, the C will become this 2 plus this 1. So change by 1. So that means 3, right? So it's gonna be like 4 and 5 on the 5th steps, similar to this. So every time we change the counter, this overrides this counter value, okay, with the new value. So if this was 3, we add 1, this counter will become 4. Cool, awesome. I think that's clear. All right, cool. So that's how it works. And now we run and then see. Cool. So feel free to leave it in a comment, like if you don't understand that, I'll explain it in more detail. Okay, cool. So here's a new way to write the same code. This code uses a for loop. Okay, so what is a for loop? Look closely and see if you can figure out how it is similar or different to the code you wrote before. You can even swap out the new code below or the old code. It works exactly the same way. Okay, so that's our old code where we set counter 1, we repeated 5 times, and then we change 1. But here is a bit different, right? So here it says for counter from 1 to 5, count by 1. So it's setting some limit. I'll change the color. Okay, so it's setting counter start from 1. So there's the starting point, there's the end point, and for each loop it's gonna change by 1. So for the first time it will start with 1. At the end of first loop it will become 2, the C will become 2, and will start with 2, and then at the end of this it will become 3, and then so on, right? And it will start at 5, and then when it at 5 it's not gonna run the loop anymore. Okay, and it can increase plus or it can decrease. It can only go 2 ways. So if you start with a higher number, so if you do 5 to 1, so to 1, this change by will decrease. So it will start with 5, and for the second one it will go 4, third one it will go 3, fourth one it will go 2, and fifth one it will go 1. So when it goes to 1, this will stop. So when it goes to this point, the loop will not run anymore. Okay, so let's cross it. All right, so let's run this code and then see what happens. Cool, so you can see the code. Let's see the code. So see it assigning a counter. So there's a counter, but there's no value in it. So this is, I think, JavaScript. Okay, yeah, it's JavaScript. So it's assigning a variable, but there's nothing in it. Okay, so you can assign a box, like think variable like a box in your WordPress. So you have a box called counter, but you don't have anything in it, right? And then for loop, what it is saying is counter 1. So start with counter as a 1. So put, suppose 1 coin in a counter, and then don't put anything when it's 5 or less than 5, and increment. So for each loop you add to this one, and when this counter becomes 5, you don't do anything. So run unless it's 5 or less than 5. Okay, so when counter becomes 2, you still run this code. When the counter becomes 3, run this code. When the counter becomes 4, run this code. But when the counter becomes 5, okay, run this code because there's equal. But when counter becomes 6, you don't run this code, you finish, right? Don't do anything. And for each loop, it's moving forward. So that's moving forward is a function. We don't have it here, but it's doing something. We are calling that function. And again, for that, we have a count. And then while the counter is less than the counter, you go the nectar, you get the nectar. So that's the second loop. So it says repeat counter times to get nectar. Cool. So we go to the next one. I think there's a video you can watch. That's just say what I said, but yeah, you can watch the video. I'm just gonna go to the next one. All right, so now we need to predict. The use of for loop make this puzzle a lot easier. Okay, read the code below. What will happen when you click run? Okay, so let's do this, right? So let's predict. So I'll get my pen. So for counter from 1 to 4, count by 1. So it will start from 1 and then finish at 4, and it will increase. So when it goes to, so suppose this is first loop, when it goes to second, it will become 2. When it goes to third loop, it's open 3. When it's go to fourth loop, it's become 4. So it's gonna run 4 times, right? So 4 times for each time is going to move forward. You repeat counter times and get nectar. So suppose go with the first loop, right? So it's going to move forward. So this is here. It's going to go how many nectar? 1 nectar. So that's fine. It will get this nectar. For the second loop, it's going to go second box. It's going to get 2 nectar, right? Because the counter will become 2. So all good, we'll get this. We got 3. Move forward, the counter is 3 now, so it will get 3 nectars. Cool, awesome. And now we're on the 4th loop, right? So it's gonna go 4th box, get counter is 4 now, we'll get 4 nectar, and that's it. It won't go anymore, right? So it will get all 4. Okay, let's now see the options. So the bee will move forward and collect all of the nectar from every flower. No, it's not gonna do that. The bee will move forward and collect all of the nectar from every flower except for one. I think that's the right one. All right, so it did all except for this one. It didn't go here. Okay, so the bee will move forward and collect bees will go forward and collect 1 nectar from flowers. So it doesn't get 1 nectar only, it gets all of them, right? So I think so this is not right and this is not right, so I think this B. Okay, let's try it. This B, run. Cool, well done. We can reveal code or not. It doesn't show. Okay, so go to the next one. So we did this, right? Well done. So far so good. Okay, so help the bee collect all of the nectar. Cool. So let's see the pattern, right? So we go, let's see the pattern. So how many flowers is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to run 7 loop, right? Okay. And for each loop, we need to increase the counter by 1. So okay, let's do 1 by 1, right? So we know 7 loop because there are 7 flowers. Okay, so we do loop, we count 1 to 7, and then we count by, so how much we want to increase, right? So if you look here, so first box has 1 flower, second one 2, third one 3. So they're incrementing by 1, right? So I'll do count by 1. Okay, all good. 1 to 7 count by 1. And for each box, we need to go move forward, right? So we go move forward and then we need to collect the nectar. All right, so see that for first one, we collect 1 nectar. For the second box, we collect 2 nectars, right? So it's the same with the loop number, right? Because as we said before, it's the pen. Okay, so the counter becomes 1 for the first loop, 2 for second loop, 3 for third. It's gonna go to 7, right? If you look at flowers, it's in 1 nectar on the first loop, 2 on the second loop, 3 on the third loop, right? So it's the same as the counter number. Cool. So what we can do here is we can do loop, repeat counter, and then we can do get nectar. So for each box, when we go this, it's gonna get repeat 1 time. So when the counter is 2, it's gonna go 2 times. So yeah, it seems like it'll do what we want it to do, and then the workspace is 9. Okay, so run. Cool, awesome. So if you see the code is same, it's getting the counter, setting the counter 1 to counter 7. We're incrementing by 1. So it's a shortcut. You could do plus means +1, counter equal to counter +1, and minus means counter equal to counter -1. Cool. So in here, the equal means difference. In programming, it's not like math. In math, equals means counter equal, this is the same thing. In programming, equal means you're assigning this. So you kind of, if you think counter is a box, you're putting this one inside the box, okay? And then the same. All right, so you continue to the next one. All right, so you can also use a for loop to count down, so as we talked before, right? So you can go from incremental, so 1 to, like, suppose 10, ascending or descending, whichever way you want, right? You can count down or count up or count down. So up means 1 to kind of 10, or in this case 1 to 5. Down means 5 to 1. So we do the same thing. So this is the same as the previous one, right? So we do counter. So in this way we go 5 till 1, right? So the first flower has 5, and first box has 5 flowers, and the last one was 1 flower, so 5, 1, and they're going down by 1, right? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 4 minus 5 is 1, 3 minus 5 minus 4 is 1, 4 minus 3 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. So count by 1. And then for each one we want to move forward. And then when you're in each box, at this time the flowers are the same as counter. So we can do repeat loop, and then we can just go get nectar. Okay, so 9 out of 9. All right, let's run. Cool, well done. So if you want to look at the code, it's same, starting as 5 till 1, minus minus, I think talked before, and then this is the normal loop. Okay, continue. So the last number is used for loop is called the increment. Yeah, increment. And each time the loop is run, the counter variable changes by the value of the increment. So change by 1. So try collecting this flower using an increment of 2. So it kind of gave us a hint, right? So let's have a top loop, for loop. So 1. So start with 1, finish at 7, right? Cool. And then increment by 2. So you can, it's given hint, but we can figure out from here, right? So first square has 1 flower, second one has 3, right? So the difference is 3 minus 1 is 2, 5 minus 3 is 2, 7 minus 5 is also 2, right? So the count by 2. So each loop we run, we want go down by, go up, this case go up, we go up by 2, okay? And we do same, move forward, loop, counter, and this is the same as counter as well, because for the first square is going to be 1, second square, that means second loop is going to be 1 plus 2, that means 3. When you go to the third loop, it's going to be 3 plus count by 2, 5, right? So you go action, get nectar. Okay, cool. Awesome. So if you look at code, same, we're setting a variable, we're starting from 1 till 7, and we're incrementing by 2. So counter plus equal means the same, counter equal to counter plus 2. So that's just a shortcut. We'll learn it later on when we do JavaScript. And all the same. Cool. Continue. All right, so you got this. So you have a new challenge. What should your increment be? Okay, so we know how to figure it out, right? So this time increment will be 6 minus 3 is 3, 9 minus 6 is 3, 12 minus 9 is 3, 15 minus 12 is 3, right? 3. Okay, so for this one, we go move forward. I'll do the loop later on. So move forward, and then we turn right. Okay, action, turn right, and then we do move forward, and then we get nectar, right? Okay, so that's so for everything we do this, right? If you want, you can put in a function, but we don't need to. We'll just go, where's the loop? Okay, so loop, let's get a loop counter. We start with 3, okay, and then we finish at 15, and we count by increment by 3, right? So 6 minus 3 is 3, 9 minus 6 3, 12 minus 9 3, 15 minus 12 3. Okay, cool. And then we do this, and then for each loop we get the same number of, for the first loop we get 3, right? So this is 3. When the counter changed to 6, we get 6 nectar. So we can just do counter and then get nectar. So this is gonna be here, and for this one we need to turn left, so we can be in this position. So when you start this way, right? So we action turn left. All right, 12 out of 12 to run. Okay, that's good. Awesome. That's the code. Again, if you don't understand, you have any problem, leave it in the comment. I'll add more examples. I'll go to the whiteboard and draw stuff to make you understand. Feel free to leave comment, and of course subscribe to this channel. Okay, so same counter, and then starting with 3, finishing minus 15, and then incrementing the counter by 3. We move forward, turn right, all those instructions. Cool. All right, so it's similar code, but instead of increment we do subtracted. Okay, so same. So let's get a loop, for loop. So we need to figure out what's the starting point and what's the ending point. So starting point is 15, as you can see, ending is 3, right? So 15, ending is 3, and then we're gonna count by, so 15 minus 12 is 3, 12 minus 9 3, 9 minus 6 is 3, 6 minus 3 is 3, right? So 3. Okay, same way I think we're gonna turn, so this is facing this way, so you want to turn left first. Okay, turn left, we go move forward, we do turn right, move forward, and then when you are on the flower we need to collect the nectar, right? And this is going to be same as the number of counter, because we are starting with 15. For the first loop it's going to be 15, it's 15 flowers, so we can just use our same trick, is the counter, get nectar. Okay, 12 out of 12, run. Cool. Awesome. So I'll just for fun reveal the code. Nothing changed. We started with 15 and then we did minus. Okay, cool. Alright, so use the counter variable twice. It also gave us a hint, right? So okay. So we start, so this is for loop because this is for loop challenge, but yeah. So we do for loop starting with 1, finishing at 3. Okay, and we can see the difference is only 1. So yeah, 2 minus 1 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, right? 1. Okay, and then the first one is move forward, right? So this one is a bit different than the other ones. So with other ones we had to just move forward once, but for this one, for the first loop we need to move forward 1. For the second one we have to move forward 1, 2. For third one, 1, 2, 3. So if you look at the counter, it's going to be same number as counter, right? For the first loop, our counter is 1. For the second loop, our counter is 2. For third loop, our counter is 3, because we're just incrementing by 1. So we can do repeat counter, move forward, and then when we are on the square, we can use the same counter to get nectar, because the flower number is also same. Cool. 11 out of 11. Gonna press run. What did I do? Oh, why did I use turn right? Okay. This move forward. Okay. Yeah, well done. The same. Go continue. Alright, now let's combine the counter variable with the math block. Ooh, challenging. Okay, how can you use the counter variable to navigate this garden with the fewest number of blocks possible? Okay, cool. So now I think there's a challenge, right? I think the counter is not going to be the same as number of flowers or the move forward block. Okay, so let's grab a counter this, so we can at least predict how many nectar we need to get, right? So we start with 3 and then finish at 15. 3, 15, and then it's counting by, so it's incrementing, right? So we go second one, 6 minus 3 is 3, 9 minus 6 is 3, 12 minus 6 is 9 is 3, 15 minus 12 is 3. So you count by 3. And then we're facing this, so we need to at least face the flower before we can move forward. So we turn left, okay, and then we move forward, right? So that's interesting. So from this place to the first flower is only one step, right? But we can't use the counter because counter is at 3. So what can we do? Okay, so let's look at the second one. So for the second one, we need to move forward 1 to a space. Seems like a pattern. Okay, for 9, we need to move 1, 2, 3 space. So if you divided the counter number by 3, I think you can find how many move forward you need to do. So suppose for first one, 3 divided by 3 is 1, right? So 1 looks good. For the second one, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 1, 2, good. For the third loop, 9 divided by 3 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Fourth loop, 12 divided 3 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we need to, okay, I think we got the idea. We repeat, okay, and we do math. We can grab this, and then we say counter divided by 3, right? Because when counter is 3, we want it to go only 1 space. When counter is 6, we want to go only 2 space. When counter is 9, we want the B to go only 3 space. Cool. So we can do move forward, okay, and then when you're on top of that flower square, we need to get the same number the counter is, right? Cool, counter, and then we can do get nectar. Okay, looks good. 14 out of 14. Let's run. Ooh, awesome. That was a challenging one. Needed math skill. Atlas division. Okay. So 3, 15, 3, and then divided by 3. And you have another loop to move forward, another loop to get the nectar. Cool. So that's the last one. Okay. Challenge. Okay. Take what you've learned about for loops and try to solve this problem. Remember, you need to turn the solution multiple times. Okay, let's see. All right, so seems like, okay, they already said for loops. Okay, so I'm just going to use for loops. We're starting with 14, ending with 2. Okay, so 14, ending with 2. And each step is doing, okay, 14 minus 10 is 4. Okay, 10 minus 6 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, so they are getting down by 4. All right, so that's our loop. We know our loop, and then now this. Okay, so concentrate on to be moving forward. So we need to turn right, action, turn right, and how many steps you need to go. Okay, so let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so I think I see a pattern. So if you see 14, if you divide 14 by 2, you get 7. Cool. You divided 10 by 2, you got 5. You divide by 6 by 2, you get 1, 2, 3. And you divide by 2 by 2, you get 1. Cool. So I think we need to divide our counter by 2 for this. Okay, for figuring out how many steps into go forward. Okay, so we counter divided, let's divide it by 2. That will give us move forward. Okay, and then when you're on the neck, when you're on the flower, I think it's the same number of, the same as counter. So we can just do repeat counter, action, get nectar. Okay, 14 out of 14. Let's give it a go. Ah, looks good. Awesome. Cool, well done. I think, yeah, we're done for this lesson. So yeah, please practice this. I know this was a bit tough to get for the first time, but yeah, do exercise. If you're stuck, watch the video and exercise again. It's going to help you with the next ones. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I will see you on the next one. Bye.